celebration was in our backyard. And this is Fairfield County, and everyone thinks that this doesn't happen in places like this.
Welcome back to the toughest part of the show here. The same thing that we saw yesterday and the day before. Another day and more funerals. Adam Lanza's murderous rampage, as we know, led to dozens of unexpected funerals for this small town in Connecticut, including back-to-back services yesterday for 2 first graders. When those mourning James Matoli's death left the church, they exchanged hugs on the way out the door, with many waiting outside for the next service for Jessica Ricos. Again, both of these kids just 6 years of age.
I've never been in a situation like this where I'm watching a sea of people leaving a funeral for a child and another sea of people waiting at the side of the church trying to get in for the next funeral. I've never seen anything like that in my career. It's just really beyond words.
And there were more sad moments today in Connecticut. Andrew, more than just the names, tell us who these people, both young and old, were.
We have snapshots of them, Rich, and that's really all we have at this point. Among them, 7-year-old Daniel Barden. Daniel was the youngest of 3 children. His family described him as always smiling, incredibly affectionate, a constant source of laughter and joy. He hoped to be a firefighter someday, just like his uncle. Firefighters from around the region attended the young boy's funeral today as Daniel's family arrived at St. Rose of Lima Church this morning. Firefighters formed long blue line along the road, silently offering their respect. 6-year-old Charlotte Bacon also laid to rest today. Charlotte was an animal lover who hoped to become a veterinarian one day. She loved wearing the color pink and practicing Taekwondo with her father and her brother. 6-year-old Caroline Pravidi's funeral was today as well. Caroline loved to draw and to dance. Kind-hearted little girl. A neighbor described and recalled how Caroline would ride the bus with the neighbor's 5-year-old son when he got scared of the bus ride. She would sit with him and make sure he felt safe, playing peekaboo over the seat to distract him. Friends and family saying goodbyes to 7-year-old Chase Kowalski today. Chase was described as a fun and energetic boy who completed his first triathlon at the age of 6 and ran in many community road races. Chase loved baseball and enjoyed practicing with his father and teammates. 27-year-old Victoria Soto's funeral was also today. A teacher at Sandy Hook Elementary. She is being remembered as a hero for trying to save her students from the gunman. She's believed to have hidden the children in her classroom closet before confronting Adam Lanza, telling them the children were at the other end of the school. Since her death, parents of her students have spoken out about what a wonderful and caring teacher she was. The iconic image of a young woman howling in grief has come to represent the pain of that day. The woman pictured here is Victoria's sister, Carly. The picture snapped the moment she heard about her sister's death. And finally, a private remembrance held today for the beloved principal of Sandy Hook Elementary, Dawn Hochsprung. Hochsprung remembered as a hero who tried to save the students and teachers at her school. A woman who devoted her life to her students. She reportedly died while trying to subdue the killer. She leapt from a conference room when she heard the gunfire and confronted the shooter head on. She even had the presence of mind to turn on the school's PA system in an effort to warn teachers of the coming danger. Hochsprung is survived by her husband, 2 daughters, and 3 stepchildren. Her daughter has just recently gotten engaged. In honor of her love of her students, her family has created a fund that will provide scholarships annually to Newtown High School seniors. If you're interested in donating, you can visit the website for the Waterbury Teachers Federal Credit Union and click on the link for the Dawn Lafferty Hochsprung Memorial Fund. Rich?
We're also going to be talking this evening about how people can help. There is memorials set up and tremendous acts of generosity that have come out of this, and we've seen some terrific moments of humanity. But today, I can't even imagine what these families are going in. I want to bring in our table here tonight, Jessica Proud. She's a political strategist and vice president, NLO Strategies. Dominic Carter, as you all know, political journalist and author, and you've met Andrew. Let's just talk about the kids and the educators there, because to a person, everyone in that town, including some of the grieving parents and the ones who survived, made it a point to talk about Victoria Soto, the principal, and the others in there. We'll talk about the kids in a second. But for everybody who thinks, likes to put down teachers and stuff, not one teacher ran. And to me, it's one of the most amazing things out of all this. Armed with nothing but, you know, themselves. They went in there and not one left those kids behind. I don't think it's in any way exaggeration to say Miss Soto saved those kids' lives, hiding them and meeting that guy head on. And as Andrew just said, we heard what the principal did. It was just amazing. I can't even fathom how they were able to collect that amount of courage and wherewithal in such a short period of time. It's just mind-boggling. Yeah,
I was blown away by those stories, and it's just, you know, hit really closely home to me because some of my dearest friends are educators, you know, friends that I've grown up with, and, you know, it caused me to really think and say, like, well, would I have had the wherewithal to react the same way? It's just, you know, you put yourself in their shoes and think, you know, would I have been as smart to turn on the PA system, or would I have been able to, you know, hide the kids? What would I have said to them? You know, it's just such a remarkable story of, you know, their commitment to their classroom and their kids, and there's just, you know, it's tragic.
First of all, Richard, there are many of us that have always felt that teachers are heroes for what they do in, day out, in terms of raising us and making us the people that we are. They have never received the credit that they're due. They're often made to be victims politically, you know, of whatever, some politician. But to take it a step further, Jessica, and I think we're all quite emotional about what has happened. And to our knowledge, most of these teachers were females. I mean, and I'm not making it a male-female thing, but they were running towards danger, not knowing, they had to know that their lives were on the line, and it didn't stop them for 1 second. The children came first. They were the mothers and fathers of those children, and they were not going to let anybody hurt those babies. And it's a miracle that more kids were not murdered.
Well, to hear Andrew, the head of the Connecticut State Police, describe it, he, the shooter, had hundreds of unused rounds of ammunition on his person. And first of all, when you hear gunfire, not to run. Second of all, to not only have the wherewithal to hide the kids, but also to keep the kids calm so they wouldn't make noise to attract the shooter. Then to turn and engage the shooter with nothing but yourself. We all like to believe we would do all these things, and we hope we would. But, you know, listen, I got kids the same age as this, and it just, I don't know, it just makes you think a lot of things, but one of it is just to appreciate, you know, just how fragile these kids are, but also just how tenuous so many things are, and how amazing people in the most difficult of moments, how large they can become. You know,
words can't express the role that the teachers played in manning their posts and putting their kids first, or the first responders who rushed to the scene, or the school administrators who had the teachers go through that training to make sure that they would know what to do if something terrible happened. But it's for every time we do a story coming out of a tragedy, especially preventable tragedy, when there are always heroes, there are always people who rise to the occasion. It just, you can't, in the same breath, it's noting their heroism, but also why. Why do we have this set up where their heroism is needed, and how can we stop it? I know we're going to get to some of this as the show goes on, but it's you know, it's heroes in the worst of moments, but if only we could eliminate or reduce some of those worst moments.
We're going to talk about some of that tonight, because while there's grief, I think there's also justifiable anger as to how we got to where we got here, that we have to have situations like this to have to confront some of the ugly realities in this country. But just one small thing, we talked about the teachers. There was a passage in the recounting of what happened in that class, in that schoolroom, where in the room where the kids were able to run by the gunman, a little 6-year-old boy held the door open for another kid. instead of just running out. And it's just, okay, we're going to jump to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what can be done legislatively to prevent another gun shooting here, and where we as a country are, and where, at least I believe, we need to go in the next 30 days. Stay with us.